Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're stepping into a sensitive but essential conversation that many men quietly wrestle with, but rarely feel safe discussing out loud. Have you ever had a moment when something didn't feel right in your relationship? Maybe it was a sudden change in her behavior, a shift in how she spoke to you, or simply a gut feeling you couldn't shake. In today's video, we're exploring the subtle signs that a woman might not be telling the whole truth, specifically when it comes to infidelity. Let's be clear, this isn't about fostering suspicion or creating division. It's about empowering you with insight. When someone you care about begins acting differently, it's natural to question whether there's something deeper going on. And while no single sign is definitive, consistent patterns in body language, speech, and behavior can reveal more than words ever could. Cheating is painful, not just because of the betrayal itself, but because of the confusion, the self-doubt, and the unanswered questions it leaves behind. By the end of this video, you'll be better equipped to recognize the emotional and behavioral cues that often go unnoticed, but speak volumes. So stay with me until the end, because what you learn today could help you protect your relationship and peace of mind. Let's get started. Number 1. She avoids eye contact or scans the room when confronted. When a woman has something to hide, her eyes often give her away. It's not just what she says, but where her gaze goes. If you bring up the topic of infidelity, and she avoids eye contact, looks down, or scans the room, it's a sign that something's off. That shift in her gaze isn't random, it's a defense mechanism. When someone feels exposed or guilty, they instinctively look away, unable to bear the connection. Eye contact is the foundation of emotional honesty. It signals emotional distance when she avoids it, especially during difficult conversations. Even if she continues speaking, her eyes may seem empty or disconnected, betraying her true feelings. A person lying often feels an internal conflict, and their eyes reflect that struggle. It's harder to control where your eyes go than to control your words. If you ask her to look you in the eye and her gaze seems hollow, it's not just a sign of discomfort, it's emotional withdrawal. The eyes, unlike words, can't be easily manipulated. When she avoids meeting your gaze, it suggests she's guarding herself, hiding something she's not ready to confront. Understanding these subtle cues doesn't mean jumping to conclusions, but indicates a more profound truth. In moments of doubt, if her eyes refuse to meet yours, it may be the unspoken answer to the question you've been afraid to ask. Number 2. She stares at you too intently. Not all eye contact is sincere. Sometimes it's a performance, especially when it feels forced, unnatural, or uncomfortably intense. A woman with something to hide may overcorrect, holding your gaze too long to seem open. It's not the warm, effortless connection of real presence, it's controlled, stiff, and oddly rehearsed. She knows avoiding eye contact can signal guilt, so she stares instead, as if locking eyes could erase doubt. But a real connection doesn't need that much effort. Genuine eye contact has a rhythm. It ebbs and flows. It glances, it softens. When someone never breaks their stare, when it feels like they're trying to prove honesty rather than share it, trust your instinct. If her eyes make you uneasy, pay attention. Discomfort is often the first sign that something isn't real. The truth doesn't need a spotlight. It shows up quietly, without pressure. And when a stare feels more like a script than a signal of trust, it's not truth you're looking at. It's a mask. Number 3. She gets defensive at simple questions. When a woman reacts with irritation or hostility to a simple question, it's often not the question that bothers her, it's what it represents. You might casually ask who she was with, or what her day looked like, and instead of a calm response, she bristles, accuses you of being paranoid, or shifts the blame onto you. This sudden defensiveness isn't rooted in innocence, it's a signal that something deeper may be at play. Women with nothing to hide usually don't feel attacked by basic curiosity. They answer without tension because there's nothing to conceal. But when a woman reacts as though your question is an accusation, it's often a reflex to divert attention. She may raise her voice or even suggest you're untrustworthy, flipping the script to regain control of the conversation and avoid giving an honest answer. This tactic isn't about communication, it's about avoidance. The goal is to make you feel guilty so you stop asking altogether. And that's where many men lose clarity. They begin to second-guess themselves, questioning whether their instincts were fair. But trust is built through openness, not confusion. If a woman repeatedly meets calm questions with emotional defense, the issue may not be your question. It may be what she doesn't want you to find out. Real connection doesn't fear honesty, it welcomes it. And when even the smallest question sparks conflict, it's not a matter of insecurity, it's a sign you're brushing up against a truth she's not ready to share. Number 4, she suddenly becomes extremely sweet or distant. Relationship behavior shifts are never random. They often signal something more profound. If a woman suddenly becomes overly sweet, showering you with gifts, cooking for you, or being unusually affectionate, it could be an attempt to mask guilt. Her actions, while kind, may be motivated by discomfort or remorse, rather than genuine affection. Conversely, if she becomes distant, cold, or disengaged, it may signal that her emotional focus is elsewhere. She might pull back, becoming less present or distracted, indicating that her attention is now directed elsewhere. This distance can be a defense mechanism to avoid emotional conflict or to distance herself from something she's not ready to address. Both extremes, excessive sweetness or sudden coldness, are signs that something is off. Whether she's compensating for guilt or withdrawing due to external pressures, these behavioral changes are often her way of dealing with emotional discomfort. Recognizing these shifts helps you understand when her feelings may not align with the relationship and when something deeper needs attention. Number 5, she changes her daily routines without reason. When a woman suddenly alters her daily routines without an apparent reason, it's often a sign that something is changing. Small shifts, like coming home later than usual with vague explanations, should raise questions. If she used to arrive by 6 p.m. but now consistently returns after dark, or if she picks up new habits like joining the gym when she never cared about fitness, it could indicate she's trying to impress someone new or reinvent herself. Such changes often reflect an attempt to rebrand her image or appeal to a new audience. People don't usually change their habits without a reason. When these changes appear out of nowhere, they often point to new influences. Whether it's a new relationship or a shift in priorities, these disruptions suggest that her emotional energy is being directed elsewhere. When you notice these shifts, looking beyond the surface is essential. These changes aren't random. They often signal a more profound emotional transition that may not be centered on your relationship. Number 6. She becomes too busy or harder to reach. When a woman becomes harder to reach, it's a sign that something has shifted. At first, it may seem like she's just busy, but her behavior may raise red flags over time. If she's not answering calls, turning off her phone, or frequently saying she's too busy, it can signal her emotional focus elsewhere. Suppose she's consistently unavailable when she used to be free, or hesitates to answer her phone around you. In that case, it's more than just a scheduling issue. It could indicate she's hiding something, perhaps conversations or encounters with someone else. Everyone gets busy occasionally, but a consistent lack of availability where there used to be openness shows a growing emotional distance. The shift from readily available to suddenly evasive is no coincidence. It's a sign that something is changing. Recognizing this behavior early can help you assess whether her commitment to the relationship is fading. Number 7. Her speech becomes hesitant, fast, or vague. A woman's speech can reveal more than she intends, especially when something is off. She might struggle with the truth if she suddenly talks faster, as if rushing through a question, or speaks more slowly, carefully choosing her words. These shifts often respond to pressure, where she's trying to find the right words to protect herself. Listen for common verbal evasions like, "I don't know," "Why do you ask?" or "Can we not do this right now?" These phrases deflect or delay the conversation, signaling discomfort or reluctance to engage. Her attempt to avoid a direct answer may indicate hesitation in opening up. Look for physical cues like throat clearing, stammering, and signs of anxiety or unease. She might also change the subject, steering the conversation away from uncomfortable topics. These subtle signs often point to an attempt to hide something. When her speech becomes hesitant, fast, or vague, it's often a sign that something is being hidden. How she communicates under pressure can reveal much about her emotional state and the unspoken truths in your relationship. Number 8. Her body language closes off or pulls away. Our bodies often reveal what we try to conceal, and when a woman's body language shifts, it's essential to notice the subtle changes. If she crosses her arms, leans away from you, avoids physical touch, or adopts a closed posture when you bring up sensitive topics, these actions aren't just physical but emotional signals. Such gestures often indicate discomfort, a desire to protect herself, or an unwillingness to engage in what she may perceive as a vulnerable or challenging conversation. These non-verbal cues are signs of emotional withdrawal. When her body moves away from you or her arms remain crossed, it's as if she's creating a barrier between you and herself. It's not always about what she's saying, but about what she's not saying with her body. These physical cues might accompany defensive language or avoiding direct answers, suggesting she is hiding something more profound. The emotional distance grows not just in words, but in how she physically positions herself. Distance becomes a shield. A woman who feels vulnerable or conflicted might not always be open about it. Instead, her body becomes the messenger. These signs, though subtle, can be powerful indicators that she's struggling internally with the conversation or issue at hand. It's crucial to recognize these shifts, as they may signify emotional walls she's putting up, making it harder for you to get closer. When emotional withdrawal happens, it's often paired with a reluctance to discuss what's truly on her mind, leaving you to navigate the space between you and her in search of answers. When these behaviors appear, it's essential to approach the situation with patience and understanding. Rather than pushing for answers, focus on creating an environment where she feels safe to lower those defenses. Only then will she be able to open up, breaking through the barriers her body language has put in place. Number 9. She pauses before responding. It may seem innocent enough when you ask a woman a direct question and she pauses before answering. We all need time to think. But when that pause stretches a little longer than usual, especially if she used to respond quickly and effortlessly, it can hint at something more. In situations that are sensitive or charged with emotional weight, those few extra seconds can signal that she's carefully crafting her response, possibly to avoid revealing the truth. It's a small but telling sign that her words may not be as genuine as they appear. This kind of hesitation can be especially concerning if it becomes a pattern. If these pauses occur consistently when you ask about matters that matter to her, relationships, plans, or anything that requires honesty, there's a chance she's trying to hide something. Not that silence automatically means deceit, but over time it can become a tell, a signal that she's deliberating, choosing her words carefully, or perhaps even constructing a convincing lie. The key is in the consistency. A one-time pause might be nothing more than a natural moment of reflection, but when it becomes habitual, particularly when dealing with delicate topics, it suggests more is at play than a simple need to think. It's a sign that her responses might be calculated, her true feelings shielded behind a wall of careful consideration. Understanding this subtle shift in behavior is crucial. It's not just about her words, but their timing and intention. Pauses are small moments, yet they can hold powerful insights into her thinking and, more importantly, what she might not be saying. Number 10. Her pupils dilate when lying. There are times when words can't tell the whole story, when what's happening beneath the surface speaks louder than anything spoken aloud. One such telltale sign is the dilation of her pupils. The human body reacts involuntarily to emotional states, and pupil dilation is one of the most subtle yet telling responses. When a person is under stress or intensely focused, like when lying, pupils naturally widen. It's a physiological reaction that's nearly impossible to control. So when you notice her pupils dilating while she denies something serious or tries to deflect a critical conversation, you're witnessing a silent, unconscious giveaway of what she's feeling. This can be particularly noticeable when she's trying to hide something, perhaps evading a deeper question or avoiding the truth. The contrast is evident when you compare her reactions during casual conversation. Her pupils may remain neutral or shrink, indicating a calm, relaxed state. But when the topic turns serious, when the stakes feel higher, the change in her pupils is almost immediate, widening as the moment's stress hits her. It's important to understand that this is not a conscious choice. Her body responds to the situation's emotional weight, even if her words tell a different story. This physiological response doesn't lie. When her pupils betray her, it's a reminder that even in the most controlled conversations, the truth can slip out through her body's natural reactions. Though this subtle cue may be easy to overlook, it can provide critical insight into what's happening inside. When her pupils dilate in moments of tension, or when she's lying, her body is revealing more than her words ever could. It's a sign that something is being hidden, and it's up to you to pay attention to the silent language her body is speaking. Number 11. Her social media activity doesn't match her story. Social media has become the modern-day mirror of our lives, but sometimes that mirror doesn't reflect the whole truth. Something doesn't add up if she tells you she was working late, but you see a picture of her at a bar or tagged at a club. This isn't just about minor contradictions, but a deeper, more troubling misalignment between what she says and shows the world. Social media can often become a digital truth serum, revealing more than intended, especially when the person in question is trying to keep up appearances. Cheaters, more often than not, are cautious online. They know how easily an innocent post or story can betray them. However, the excitement or carelessness of the moment sometimes leads them to slip up. Maybe she's in the middle of telling you about a busy night working, but later you notice her sharing a photo of herself laughing with friends or checking in at a club. These seemingly harmless posts are not just minor details, they are breadcrumbs that lead you to a more profound truth. It's easy to dismiss one inconsistency, but when they stack up, it's time to look closer. Another subtle clue is the way she interacts with others online. Pay attention to who's tagging her, which stories she watches, or what she's engaging with late at night. These aren't just random actions. They could be her way of seeking validation, connection, or excitement outside the relationship. Social media can give you more than just a glimpse of where her time and attention are going. If she's spending late nights scrolling through specific profiles, or if certain interactions become a regular habit, it's telling you something about her emotional investment, or lack thereof, in the relationship. Ultimately, the stories we tell on social media don't always match our reality. Painting a perfect picture and curating an ideal life is easy, but actions rarely lie. If what she's posting doesn't align with what she's telling you, it's worth digging deeper. Trust your instincts. The truth often hides beneath the surface when the narrative doesn't match reality. Number 12, she has a history of lying, even about small things. It's essential to note when someone has a history of dishonesty, even in the most minor matters. Lying about trivial things, like where she was, who she was with, or how she spent her money, may initially seem insignificant, but these small lies often form a pattern that, if left unchecked, can escalate. Women who lie to manage uncomfortable situations might not feel the weight of their actions, especially if they've successfully gotten away. Over time, these small deceptions create a habit that becomes easier to repeat with each success. If a woman has shown she can lie without guilt, don't be surprised when the same behavior surfaces when something more important is at stake. The stakes may change, but the pattern often remains. Lying becomes a tool she reaches for in times of uncertainty, and once that door is opened, it can be challenging to close. Understanding that this behavior isn't always about malicious intent is crucial. Often it's about avoiding uncomfortable situations or protecting herself from consequences she fears. However, the repeated act of dishonesty creates a dangerous precedent. It erodes trust, which is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When a person feels comfortable lying about small details, it's only a matter of time before those lies become more extensive and damaging. Understanding this pattern can help you recognize the potential risks before they unravel into something more significant. While none of these signs alone can confirm dishonesty, consistent patterns across multiple behaviors often speak louder than words. In any relationship, trust is built not just on what's said, but on what's felt. Those subtle shifts in eye contact, tone, routines, and body language that quietly alert you when something's not right. Recognizing these cues isn't about paranoia, but emotional awareness and self-respect. You deserve a relationship rooted in honesty, where questions aren't met with defensiveness and where actions match words. When something feels off, don't ignore it. Your intuition is often your strongest ally in moments of uncertainty. Pay attention, ask the hard questions, and be willing to face the truth. Even when it's uncomfortable, you owe that to yourself. Now, I'd love to hear your perspective. Have you ever noticed any of these signs in someone close to you? What did your instincts tell you, and how did you respond? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights into relationships, trust, and emotional intelligence. See you in the next one.